Yeah.
And the first team we're going to talk about is the Miami Heat. No surprise there, to be honest, because of the fact that, again, this is the exact same situation they were in last year. And we saw what they were able to do last year. They were able to make the finals last year somehow, right? It's Miami Heat. The first thing we always talk about when we talk about the Miami Heat, especially me and Honey, it's culture, right? Like the culture of that Miami culture is real, right? The culture instituted by Pat Riley, the mob boss, right? Like Pat Riley is absolutely, insane. His work ethic, it just drives the organization and it filters down to everyone in the organization. And which is why you've seen them be as successful as they have been, even without talented rosters. So that's the first thing when you have to talk about the Miami Heat is just their culture of toughness and the winning precedent they have had with Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, and then now with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, them making the finals last year, right? Just that winning and culture that they have. This year as well, they are a great defensive team once again. So they are sixth ranked in defense. So again, we always know you hang your hat on your defense. Defense matters. Defense wins championships. Defense, wins games in the playoffs. Again, their offense is they do have the 25th ranked offense, but once again, their defense is their main focus. And we know, everyone's offense stalls out in the playoffs. Everyone's offense drops off in the playoffs with game planning, with the games getting slower, with the games getting more physical. Offense drops off in the playoffs, and the teams that are able to be successful are great defensive teams. Again, minus if you're a LeBron James-led team when I think they had like the 29th ranked defense when Cleveland made it to the finals in 2018. But again, that's LeBron, right? In the playoffs, defense matters. And even though Miami's offense sucks right now, we know in the playoffs they'll get it together. They'll be good enough to do it. And Jimmy Butler's isolation scoring, right? Isolation scoring is invaluable in the playoffs, and Jimmy Butler is one of the best at it. And we all know Jimmy Butler raises his game to the stakes, right? And we all know what he's about. He'll be fun.
Yeah.
They've also added a couple of guys like Victor Oladipo and Trevor Ariza, and also Nemanja Bjelica. So that just gives them even more added depth and even more options for them to roll with in the playoffs. Now, again, Victor Oladipo is injured right now. Hopefully he can be healthy by the time the playoffs come around. But this just adds more depth and more value to this Miami team that's already there. And overall, again, it's just a very good overall team with lots of depth, with lots of great players, with people who know what they're doing, with staff members who know what they're doing, right? Eric Spoelstra's staff who will put them in the best positions as possible in the playoffs. It's just this year you're seeing them struggle, obviously with COVID. First of all, they got hit by COVID in the beginning of the season. And then obviously injuries as well, right? I just talked about Victor Oladipo being out. So this team has kind of had to just throw stuff together on the fly, as is the case with a lot of teams, honestly, this season. But Miami is one of those teams that has had to just piece it together on the fly. And, you've seen an inconsistent team as a result. But again, we know what they're about in the playoffs. We know what this organization is about. And we fully expect them to at least, win a round, to be honest. Like, I would not be surprised if they took someone out at the top of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean, again, you said that you said it before. Like we've seen what Miami's been able to do, at least firsthand. The way they play the Raptors and every other team, and how they were able to get to the NBA Finals last year was built upon their toughness, the culture that was set by Pat Riley and that for that organization. And we said it when Jimmy Butler even got to Miami. Jimmy Butler fits that culture. He fits what Miami's trying to do, and that's why it was just a seamless fit, and it was one of the biggest reasons why Miami was even able to make that finals push. And then, yeah, like you said, like Miami's always been great on the defensive end, and in the playoffs, that's super critical. You want to make sure that you have a solid foundation on the defensive end, and then obviously when the offense slows, the game slows down. You want to have isolation scorers. You want to be able to give the ball to a guy and just have him get a bucket for you. And Jimmy Butler is one of the best to do it in this league, man. And again, Miami has a lot of talent. When you talk about Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo, they have the young guys and Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, and Duncan
Duncan
Robinson.
Robinson.
Yeah, and all these guys. And then on top of that, they added Victor Oladipo. Well, actually, they stole Victor Oladipo from the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
Trevor Ariza, who, again, like these guys, I mean, again, Oladipo's hurt right now. Ariza and Bjelica, these aren't big names, but these are guys who can potentially, like Jay Crowder last year, get hot in the playoffs because they've been there, they've done that, especially in the case of Trevor Ariza. You know, he's a seasoned veteran. He's been there. He's done it all. You know, he can come up big for you. And yeah, like this is a good team, and there's a lot of depth on this team. And they play hard. This team is going to play hard each and every single possession, and that's key in the playoffs. You want to make sure everyone's playing hard, and that's how you win rounds. And I mean, just from a personal standpoint, I hope Miami knocks off, Brooklyn. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would love if it happened. But yeah, I think Miami is definitely one of those dark horse teams that you cannot not take the Miami Heat seriously, because if you do, then I'm sorry, you're gonna be packing your bags early and heading home from the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Miami Heat, definitely a dark horse team.